Guys, welcome back to another episode of Unboxed, where today we are delving into Ireland's most successful gymnast, the end, period, and probably one of the most successful gymnasts in the world, the end, full stop. Today's guest is someone who's made not just history with what he's won, but through how he has done it. Rhys McClenaghan, welcome.
Hello. Hello.
It's great to have you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on the podcast. I've been listening to a couple of the episodes and I love it. So keep doing what you're doing.
Just chat and shout.
Yeah.
Just chat.
That's what we love to do here.
I know, especially us folk up north, anywho. But so for those that can't tell, obviously me and Rhys have quite a similar accent for those outside of Ireland, Northern Ireland. So bear with us. If you don't know what's going on, subtitles are key.
Remember that time they put subtitles under Paddy Barnes doing an interview at the Olympics?
That's what
he really needs the subtitles, so
yeah.
No offense, Paddy.
Yeah, no, we love Paddy, but you do, yeah. I can work in that enunciation of words. But anywho, we're just gonna get straight into it.
Sounds good.
First one, describe your sporting career in one word.
Linear. Yeah, just because I don't know. I don't know if it was by chance or I kind of like targeted things out in this way, but my kind of accomplishments like got better and better as I went along. So yeah, in like a linear trajectory.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I can't wait to get stuck into that later on, because I'm like, okay, if it's getting better and better, I'm like, okay, well, what else are we adding here?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, Unboxed 11. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
First one. One word your teammates would describe you with.
Hopefully focused or determined.
What's something people often misunderstand about you?
I'm empathetic but not sympathetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I want to know about that. The best compliment you've ever received.
My coach told me that I'm a hard worker.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah.
One song that will get you in the zone.
It depends on the mood, you know, because sometimes it depends on where your emotions are at. But generally, I go for like an Eminem song. It's hard to go wrong with that. But again, like it depends. There's such a wide range of songs he has.
You bopping in, coming into the gym, arms weak.
Yeah, yeah. Mom spaghetti.
Who has been the biggest influence on your career so far?
I mean, probably my parents, to be fair. Like, I mean, they got me into the sport. They supported me when nobody else did support me. So I'd say objectively them. But then there's lots of other athletes and, you know, my coach and stuff that helped me along the way. But I think baseline, probably my parents.
Fair. What's the best advice you've ever received?
It was probably from my coach, Luke, after the Tokyo Olympic Games, after I messed up in the final. And I think it was just oh my God, look at the little spider over there. The gym isn't always like this. That's why I caught my eye. Sorry.
We're just gonna, that's huge. That's not little.
Yeah, I caught my eye.
Just stay over there.
Get a video of that. Put it up on the screen.
That's the little spider we're referring to. It's not little. Huge.
Yeah. Big gym. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, the words of advice that my coach gave me after my first Olympic Games, I messed up in the final, and I think he said to me the day after while we were having breakfast, he just said, don't look at the Olympic rings or look at the Olympic Games with like hatred. And I took that very seriously because obviously we work towards this goal of becoming an Olympian your whole life, and it would be such a shame if it didn't go perfect on the day, and then forevermore for the rest of my life I'm looking at the Olympic rings, like shaking my head and not liking the Olympics. So I'm glad he said that at a time when I needed to hear it.
No, that's amazing, and I'm so glad you actually shared that, because I really need to hear that. And I think there's probably so many other athletes out there as well who, yeah, when things don't go right, it does take for you, but yeah, it's the whole process along the way.
Yeah, I talked with one of my friends from Sweden. He's also a gymnast and competed at the Tokyo Olympics, and he didn't do a good job by his standards at those Olympics either. And I went over to train with him a few months after those Olympics, and I had my Olympic ring tattoo on my arm. And I said, "When are you getting yours?" And he was like, I don't think I'll get it." And I was like, "Well, you always said to me that you wanted to get them." He's like, "Yeah, it just didn't go well." I was like, "Mate, forget about that. You need to get the Olympic rings." And I pretty much regurgitated what my coach Luke told me to this guy. And now he's actually got like on the same spot as me, but like even bigger Olympic rings.
Yeah.
So it was cool just to like see him accept that and go through the same thought process. Like you're saying, you can relate with that and go through the same thought process as me too.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. 3 things you couldn't live without.
A pommel horse.
Yeah, love it. Show the pommel horse in the back.
Yeah. This is Sandy, by the way.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I name all of my pommel horses.
Lovely. Right.
Yep.
Any other ones we got in here?
No, actually, the other one Red Bull have at the minute. So, yeah.
Shout out Red Bull. Chin to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Clementine, I believe. But yeah.
What do you pick the name?
I don't know. They just come to me. I just I go on them and feel them out, and yeah, they're all females for some reason.
Right.
Anyway, so pommel horse one.
Yep, fair.
Another item, like my vlogging camera.
Yeah.
That's a good one to have.
Stoney.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Hit me up, Sony. That'll be good. And God, I don't know. Like food would be good. Like food and water.
Quite practical.
Yeah, of course, because yeah, you couldn't live without them.
Fair. You know what? I like the practical approach. I'm here for it. Okay, if you could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be?
Alive or dead? It's a hard one. I mean, there's certain ones where you're like, I don't even know if I can choose. The first person that comes to mind is like Katie Taylor, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
You know, there's something about like talking with people from this island that has like reached crazy levels of their sport and of like fame or yeah, just accomplish their goals. And I love talking with people like that and love how their mind works. I've talked to Katie before, but I would love to sit down at dinner, I guess, and talk through hopefully everything I have to ask.
Yeah, fair. And actually get into a conversation. So if anyone's listening that would love to set up a dinner for Rhys and I can, you know, like hover in the background and just listen.
Just with a microphone, man.
What has been your proudest moment so far?
Winning the Olympic Games. That's it's an easy answer, I think. But like there's so many moments before that as well that if winning the Olympic Games didn't happen, I'd be probably equally proud, you know. So, but the one that stands out is the Olympics.
Fair enough. One experience that significantly shaped who you are.
Winning my first world title did. I mean, yeah, like I said, there's so many instances, and I think that's the thing with sport is that it always does come down to like one little moment where you know it happens or it doesn't happen. I could count up like what happened at the Tokyo Olympic Games as being one of those moments that changed the trajectory of my career. But I think if you're talking about my entire life, something happened when I won my first world title, and I like felt content, like it was all kind of worthwhile. Like I could have stopped gymnastics that day and still been like, I'm the best in the world right now. And there's something really to me that was really gratifying about that. And yeah, I guess like my psychology kind of changed outside of the gym as well, where I don't know, like before that World Championships, if you had to ask me about like settling down and like buying a house, having a family, things like that, I would have been like, no, there's too much to do. But then as soon as I like became a world champion, I was like, oh look, I've like accomplished a really, really big thing here. Like I can see now doing these other things. So it shows how much weight I gave to one day becoming a world champion, and then when it happened, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
I can't wait to delve into that, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But final question of the Unboxed 11. What does it mean to be unboxed to you?
I guess just be asked questions that people don't normally ask. Um, dive into how my mind works, and yeah, be curious about how I've achieved what I've achieved.
I love that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's for everyone it's so different, and that's the thing. That's what I love doing about this is as athletes and just as people, we are so different and we all have our own versions and how we understand each other. But yeah, I just find that really interesting with people. And if someone was to ask you now, like, who's Rhys? Like, what answer would you give them?
Uh, I, I'd I'm a gymnast. That's a big part of me. And I know a lot of people like to separate their sport from like who they are as a person, which I completely understand. But I think just the love that I have for this sport and how much of a role it plays in my life, it's undeniable that like almost before anything else, I'm a gymnast, which is an awesome thing to say because it's my job, and not many people would associate their actual being with what they do. So I think like that's a really privileged place to be in, to be able to like say you love something so much that I don't know, like you don't really you don't hear if you ask that to say like somebody that didn't like their job, say there's an accountant that hated being an accountant, you wouldn't ask them and they'd be like, yeah, I really associate myself with being an accountant
Mhm.
because they don't enjoy what they do. But because I love it so much, it's like attached to who I am. And I love that.
Is it something you're proud to say you do?
Yeah, most certainly. Just because of how much of a high regard I hold other gymnasts. And I've grown up obviously admiring and idolizing other gymnasts, so that now that I'm at the top level in my sport, like I'm proud of myself because I was like I admired these people growing up so much. So I'm so proud to be one of those guys now.
Do you think, like, as you say, growing up through your sport and how you idolize all them, is there something that you realize now that you would have done differently, say back when you were younger, coming into sport, whether it was like your mentality, whether it was how you managed yourself outside of the gym? Was there things like that where you've, as you become a better athlete, world, Olympic, European, name the list, what growth have you had along that way?
Um, I mean, just like normal growth as a person as well. But like I say, it's always attached to what I do in gymnastics. Um, and like I can learn. I guess I was always kind of guided by trying to get better at what I do, and maybe at times I didn't realize that's like a trajectory that I really like to follow. And I think it's maybe necessary in life to do that, to like just always make progress at something. Because progress is uh, quite linked to happiness. So when I'm getting better at gymnastics, when I'm getting better at doing a pommel horse routine, that's quite visibly linked to my happiness. So I don't know, like as I say, like when I was a teenager, maybe I didn't really make that connection. I always thought like gymnastics is over here, and Reese is like a teenage boys over here. Whereas actually the two were very strongly linked together. And now, just with maturity, I think I know that.
When you were a teenage boy, did you think or believe that you were going to be this, that this was going to be your job? Like you were going to have this playground when you were older?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe too much so to my detriment, especially for my school work and for my friends that I had. Like I just knew that I was going to make this what I do. And looking back on it, like I probably shouldn't have been that confident because it's just like so many things need to go right for that to happen. I needed to have good parents to support me in what I'd done. I needed to have an amazing coach to take me on that journey. I needed to have facilities, support, and all of these things I had. So that's what helped me become the gymnast I am today. But looking back on it, it is just so fragile. Like one thing had it been out of place in that journey, I might not be sitting here as a professional gymnast. But yeah, like I say, like I was almost overly confident that this would be my path, because I would like argue with teachers and everything in school saying, like, I don't care about this homework assignment. I'm going to be a gymnast. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is my trajectory. And they would challenge me back and say, well, how likely is this? Like, from their point of view, they don't even know any gymnasts, let alone any Olympic champion gymnasts. Um, and yeah, like, even if you do make the Olympics, like, you're still maybe not going to be in that bracket of being a professional athlete either. So the chances are so slim. But maybe I should be grateful I was like stubborn as a teenager and being like, this is what I'm doing.
No, part of me loves that. Like,
Mm.
always be stubborn, because I feel like this is the thing, and it's teachers' jobs where they have to challenge you on how you think and how you see, and they are trying to set you up for the future and success and to have an education, but ultimately it's not the only way.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I relate a lot, because again, I grew up, I was like, I'm playing hockey for my life.
Mm.
I don't care about my piece of paper or my education. I'm like,
Yeah.
get my levels or whatever, get my GCSEs. I want to play hockey. So it's actually, it almost is that, like, you need that stubborn part of you to be like, to be like, no, well, don't scream at your teacher and say, no, I'm not doing my homework because I want
Yeah.
to do X, Y, and Z. But you need to have that almost stubborn grit to actually pursue.
Yeah, I think so. At least just like confidence in your ability. Like I think around that age, I was definitely starting to see like a somewhat of a pathway to doing that. I could see by the rate of my progress in gymnastics. It's all obviously like I was looking at scores and stuff as well, which is nice because you're kind of like, say if I'm placing point 0.9 of a point behind like the best in the world and I'm 16 years old, I'm kind of like, if I add these two skills, I'm like there. I'm like challenging them. So it made sense. It was probably a little bit more clear in my mind than it was for anybody else watching. Probably for me and for my coach Luke. And that's why very early on we were saying things like, yeah, we want to be the best in the world, because we knew it was actually like possible. It wasn't so far out of reach that we were just kind of making things up as we went along. It was we having been in the gym, seeing my progress and my gymnastics, we were able to see this pathway becoming more and more clear as we progress. So maybe it wasn't as unlikely as it seemed for other people. For me,
I just love that confidence you had in yourself, because I think, especially at such a young age, you're like a teenager, you're still trying to figure everything else out, let alone being a gymnast, and to have that confidence and belief in yourself, to know and to vocalize that and say, instead of,
mm,
you're, for years you've always advocated for yourself and saying you want to be one of the best in the world, you want to win the Olympics, you want to do this and this. And I
yeah,
think for anyone listening, any kids out there, literally anyone, to be a strong male in that space in a sport like this, where it's maybe not known in Ireland for to have proper gymnasts. I
yeah.
think that's incredible. So anyone listening, be like Rhys, have a bit of confidence in yourself.
Yeah, and I think the key takeaway there is that, like, I was saying that I wanted to do these things. I wasn't like saying I'm definitely going to be Olympic champion. I'm definitely going to win world championships. I knew how difficult that was to do because I grew up in the sport, watching it and seeing people fail at doing that. So when I did say these things, whether it be on a stage in front of a camera, I think people misinterpreted it as well, and I would have got thrown the odd comment like, "You're a bit cocky, aren't you?" Or "You're a bit
Yeah.
overconfident." But to me, I was like, "Well, why would I be in the sport if I didn't want to win?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me, and I think it was because I knew where I was coming from. Like I say, was never saying this is definitely going to happen, but I sure as hell wanted it to happen as much as as much as I wanted anything in my life, really. So yeah, it was. But I didn't really listen to the people that were saying like how cocky and all that was, because I just knew where my mind was at, and I was happy with that.
Yeah, that's so impressive. But also, I don't understand people who do sport at a high level, at international, at national level, and who are pretending that they don't want to win.
Yeah, well, see, I think that this was a bit of an issue when I was growing up. I think, especially within Irish sports, and I think it's that just the humble attitude, which I completely appreciate,
Mhm.
where people just downplay themselves, their achievements, to kind of just be level with everyone else. And but and the polar opposite of that is like being an American athlete, right? Where everyone is just a bit more outgoing, eccentric, and they want to show themselves off as much as possible. There's pros and cons to that, obviously, but here in Ireland, we see the complete polar opposite, where you're downplaying everything. And I remember just seeing that with other athletes growing up, other Olympians that were literally challenging for medals, and I'm like, I myself know, like they have the chance to win an Olympic medal here. And all they're saying is, I'm just going to go out and do my best and, just see what happens, really. To me, that's uninspiring.
Yeah.
It's not inspiring for anybody watching, but most importantly, them as the athlete,
You're almost talking yourself out of it a bit.
Completely. And I don't know if it's maybe the humble attitude, or if it's that defense mechanism that, if it doesn't happen, then at least you said that wasn't your goal. But I was always never scared to say my goal, and I guess I had the courage to say it.
Class. Yeah. Well, yeah. I can't wait to hear what more we're gonna go after, but we're not gonna put you on that pressure now. Why on earth pommel?
Yeah.
With all the pieces of equipment in the playground.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you picking the horse?
Yeah, so in men's gymnastics, there's 6 events. There's the floor, pommel horse, the rings, vault, parallel bars, and the high bar. In women's, there's 4 events. So it's the floor, vault, beam, and the uneven bars. When you start gymnastics, you do all of the events. So all 6 of the events. I was training right up until I was like 18 years old. I competed in the all-around final, made the all-around final at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 and everything. So I was an established all-around gymnast. But then later that year in 2018, I got an injury in my shoulder, and we had to rehab from that. And the Olympic Games qualification was just the next year. So it was only a matter of months after we recovered the shoulder surgery that we had to compete and try and qualify. The likes of the still rings and high bar, where it's like hanging, the type of surgery I got was that was out of the question at the time. So pommel horse was really the one that it would be most likely that I qualified to the Tokyo Olympics at. I was best on pommel, so it was like a case of, do you qualify by being one of the best in the world on one apparatus, or you can be like top 30 in the world all around and qualify. So it's like it's difficult. It's more difficult on one apparatus, but at the time it was just less likely with the shoulder injury. So we switched our focus to pommel horse, and it kind of stayed that way because of COVID and everything. And then all the other apparatus started dropping off. I'm still training other apparatus, though. I do the floor exercise would be my second best apparatus. So hopefully those two I'll be competing internationally. And then the other apparatus like vault and parallel bars, I just like have ready in case a team result needs it. So in case we need to contribute those scores to a team event, then it's sitting ready. So yeah, I still do all the other events. So.
Yeah, I feel it's definitely a sport where it's okay. Yes, you might specialize, but once you kind of have that skill of winging yourself over the floor, which we see quite often on your socials, which is absolutely class. I will demonstrate my forward roll later, and it is phenomenal. I didn't point my toes. But yeah, I think it's really cool that you can specialize in one, but you have the skill set of everything. I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess it would be similar to the likes of Kate O'Connor in heptathlon, like picking her best event and then going, heptathlon is too much on her body, which we could all understand. And picking one of her best events and then specializing in that. I understand that that's probably a bit more difficult and unheard of in athletics, but for gymnastics, that kind of pattern is the way it normally goes.
Yeah, fair enough. With something that is so like, if you literally have like a breath wrong, I feel that you could be toppling off the side.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to make a mistake that can derail your whole routine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reset when that happens?
Yeah, when I do fall or before that?
Both, like building into it, you obviously have that pressure on yourself. You're like, okay, everything needs to feel good, smooth, but realistically, no one ever feels like that every day.
Yeah, so the pommel horse is an awkward event. It's like it's not very big. Like you can see, like it's these handles and everything.
Into my forearm and my hand.
Yeah, like you circle on like one of these handles to increase the difficulty of the skills, and um yeah, like one finger placement out of place sends you off. But the reason for that is it's an apparatus that requires momentum throughout the entire routine. So any kind of break in that momentum means you're off, which means there's such little room for error. If you even look at another apparatus like the parallel bars, for example, you can kind of like reestablish in like a handstand or like a static skill, whereas there's no static skills on pommel. So there's no room to even think after like a little hiccup of a mistake. So what you tend to see on pommel is like a domino effect of like one skill going like not so good, and then the other skill is getting worse, and then the next one's getting worse until your legs just hit the pommel or your hand slips off and you're gone. So it's such a difficult apparatus to almost refocus and establish your routine again. But then it can also just catch you off guard. Like literally, it could be going so well, and then your hand just slips, and you're literally flying off, and you're on the ground thinking, "What happened there?" So yeah, it's definitely the apparatus that most people fall on at a competition, and in an Olympic final, world final, there's always going to be a few people falling. But that's what makes it so exciting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that you and all the other top male athletes who do it make it look so bloody easy.
Yeah.
Feel like a beached whale trying to get over it, and I'd be like, nah, nothing.
Yeah, no, well, it's definitely a sport and a skill that you have to learn at such a young age to just make it like second nature. I mean, that's the goal of gymnastics, is to perform difficult skills but make it look easy.
Yeah, I don't do that. Anywho, we have to give first quick shout out. Love our sponsors at Red Bull who
Mhm.
are making this episode possible. Red Bull is coming out with their new Zero Excuses campaign, which, yeah, love that. But it's about encouraging everyone to get up, be active, and stay committed to creating a new fitness habit. So in February, 21-day challenges invites anyone who has Strava to participate in this challenge, where you can win tickets to High Rocks, which obviously is huge now.
Nice, yeah.
Impossible to get tickets to that. Gym memberships and on Red Bull. There's going to be insanely more, that's fantastic in English. There's going to be more insane gifts up for grabs. So make sure you check out that campaign coming up. Make sure you sign up to Strava. But Rhys, can you share a moment in your career where you feel that everything was stacked against you and you're just like, no excuses, have to get this done? What's that moment for you?
Um, it's probably like that year after the Tokyo Olympics. So obviously, like the Tokyo Olympics, it's coming up a lot, because it is just so significant. I've done two Olympic Games, one which went not so good and one which went well.
Okay, pause. Not just well.
Yes, it
Wow.
went really, really well. It went to plan. It went to plan. But this one in Tokyo, it like obviously I had the upset in Tokyo. Then I done World Championships after that. Had similar mistakes. Then like I just kind of had like a year of bad competitions. Like I just didn't compete well. I had mistake after mistake, and I think that was something that not a lot of people saw. Of course, a lot of people saw the Tokyo Olympics, but it was like a year where I felt like I got knocked down and then got kicked while I was down, like just countless times throughout the year. Um, but I knew that there was always something that I can do, and I think that's the nice thing about having an individual sports. Is that when I mess up, I mess up. Like it's my mistake, and it means that I can fix that mistake if I acknowledge what went wrong. So it was a year of failures, not making finals, not getting medals. But at the same time, it was a year of learning too. So within those failures, there's always room for improvement. And I think probably that year, although it was miserable in many ways, there was probably the most motivation I felt compounding in that year. Was just like it was just stacking up and up and up. And later in that terrible year, that was when I became a world champion. So it's just knowing that no matter how many times you do fail, like there's always going to be an opportunity to come back, as long as you learn those failures, as long as you learn to turn the failures into lessons. I feel like that's what I've done.
I love that. I think it's just that idea of there is no excuses. Ultimately, you're taking control of your own destiny, and I think anyone who is signing up to the Strava challenge, it's all about you. It's all about just, okay, I'm here to do this for myself. And you did. You took those lessons, and then ultimately you flipped that around to what many athletes would say is probably one of the worst years of their career, to then become world champion at the end of it. Like, that's all right now.
Yeah, no, it's cool to look back on, but at the time it was a tough year. But it does it goes to show that you can pull yourself out of the trenches for sure.
Right, we're gonna switch on to the Olympics that went a bit well.
Oh yeah.
In the background, Rhys has his lovely shiny.
Is it on camera? No, it's not. It's just out of camera.
Frame. Lovely shiny gold medal.
Yes.
They still have not touched one, even though I've one sitting in my apartment.
Yeah, so tell me the story about why you don't touch Olympic medals.
It's not that I don't touch it. So my girlfriend won Olympic gold. She's part of the Dutch hockey team, and I love how this is also just flipped around to me now.
Yeah.
I'm here for this. So yeah, she one side of me is I'm so proud of her and everything she's done and worked to get that Olympic gold in Paris. She was second goalkeeper in Tokyo, and with hockey only one plays. So one is in the team and the other is in reserve. They're on the stand, so they're there, but they don't step on the field unless the other keeper gets injured. So although the Dutch won gold in Tokyo, she didn't.
Right, gotcha.
So she doesn't have a medal. So she then spent kind of the next 4 years working through so much with her team culturally and to get herself into that number one spot. So then she, won in Paris the Olympics there, which was phenomenal. And she won it on a shootout. So she was able to show everyone what she was able to. It was phenomenal. Like,
so significant, especially for a keeper like that to win on a shootout.
And that's the thing. So many people think, oh yeah, and especially the Dutch keepers because their team is class. They most of the time the Dutch keepers don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh yeah, you must be good if you're a Dutch keeper, but like, how good are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she did that, and I was in floods of tears watching it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Me and her brother were literally around each other, bawling, crying. So like the personal side of me, like I was so proud of her. But I'm also an athlete, and I want to win an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
So I found that really hard. Where it was like, on one hand, I'm so proud, but the other hand, I'm like, she's literally just done my dream.
Yeah.
And after it, like I couldn't touch it because I'm like, no, I don't want to touch an Olympic medal until it's mine. I'm kind of over it now because I'm a very realistic athlete, but I want an Olympic gold. I want to win a World Cup. I want to win Europeans. But yeah, until I feel I've done what I can to put myself in a place and put my team in a place to do that, it's not mine to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of think, I don't know why this analogy's coming to my head, but it's kind of like, you know, the way if you're to like hold someone else's baby, you're like, this is cute and all, but like, I don't really like feel like looking after it all the time and like giving my entire life to this child because it's not yours.
Yeah.
But like, you hold the baby, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's similar to an Olympic medal. I mean, this is my baby after all.
Fair. It is
but if you were to hold it, I don't think it would take anything away from when you win your Olympic medal. Because when you win your Olympic medal, you're going to see it in such a unique way. I've held Olympic medals throughout my whole life, and I've been like, yeah, it's cool. But like I always had in the back of my head, just like you're saying, you're like, yeah, but it's like not my Olympic medal. But see, when you hold your own Olympic medal, like there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, I can imagine because like I've held one before. So whenever I went to school and like college in America, there was a girl, a swimmer, Kelsey Worrell, and she won something.
Okay.
So it was like passed around the class, but then think, okay, oh, cool, that's not one. But I think like I do understand what you're saying, and now I'm coming to that. So like I've touched her box. It's actually kind
phrasing.
Yeah, I've touched the box. But no,
do you want to touch my medal there?
When you say it like that, you can touch my medal. No, I do get what you mean, and I think it's just amazing, Rhys, that you've done this, and I just love how proud you are of yourself, the fact that you have that.
Thank you.
the bit of Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's
years it's
just a cool medal.
It's class. I think it's one of the nicest I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, but like I say, they could have given me a bit of tinfoil, and I still would have held it as carefully and with just as much pride. Yeah,
because
cool
ultimately
thing.
it is your journey that is in that.
Yeah, it's just a representation, isn't it? It's just a physical representation. And every time I look at that medal, I look at the years of hard work, the days where I was first picturing standing on that podium when I was about 8 years old. You know, um it's a weird thing when I was getting put around my neck that I mm, almost had like a near death experience type thing where my life like flashed before my eyes. I was just thinking about that little kid with a dream, and it was finally accomplished.
What was it like on the what was it, the winners, or like, you know, the thing in front of the bar
Oh yeah.
where you
So I didn't know what this was, right? Everyone kept telling me, because after you do, when you're being dragged left, right, and center, you've like this media interview, this thing. No, but like even just that whole week after, like your week is busy. So you're literally almost just pushed into a taxi and you're getting taken somewhere. And this thing that kept coming up, they're like, oh yeah, and then you've got the Champions Walk after this, and then this and that. And I was like, what is this Champions Walk? Because I really wasn't on social media that much. And then I didn't know what this event was until I was literally walking out of a tunnel, and the Eiffel Tower is right there, and there's a stage in front, and they're like, yeah, you just walk and like show off your medal. There's a crowd there, and it just took me by such surprise. But it was awesome. Yeah, it was so cool. Like that was just I remember I didn't think was going to happen, but it happened. You're just underneath the Eiffel Tower, and there's like a bunch of Irish fans just celebrating there with you. Like they don't want you to perform, they don't want you to do anything but show off your medal, and everyone's clapping. Yeah, it was a cool experience.
I think that was one of the good things. Like, so I went down, I spent 2 weeks down there and emptied my bank account. I had a great time as a fan.
Yeah.
I was at the rugby sevens, going up to Stade de France, literally going by myself.
Yeah.
Typical, like, just didn't care.
Mm.
Walking up, obviously, you find every member of the Irish rugby women's family. So I was in with all them. So it doesn't surprise me that so many Irish were there.
Yeah.
You doing this?
Oh, it's so cool. And then you know, you can look around a gymnastics arena and be like, yeah, everyone's come here to like watch amazing gymnastics, but they're literally just there, standing in line, standing in a crowd to like celebrate with you. And yeah, it's a cool memory to have.
Did it sink in right away that you'd won, or like within that week, obviously, because you're getting shafted everywhere? But
like just gradually. I think I don't know if you watch back like the footage of me like even get my score and coming to realization like this is my moment. This is the moment I've been dreaming of. It's happening right now. Like it was a mixture of me like hysterically laughing and hysterically crying. It was just like this. I don't even know how I was reacting, but I just kept having to like think to myself like, if this is happening right now, this isn't just another one of those like dreams that you've had, which I've had plenty of.
yeah,
But it was just realizing it was happening there. So I wanted to take it all in. And there's a little moment on the podium. I got the medal around my neck, had a little cry, and then I held the medal up to my forehead just like this, and just took a deep breath in. The breath probably lasted about 4 seconds or so, but in my mind that was the arena going silent. Nobody was there, nobody was watching on TV. It was just me and my medal. And it was a little bit of a tester, like what if there was nobody there watching? Would it have still meant as much? And the answer was absolutely, because it meant so much to me. And I took the medal away from my forehead and saw everybody around me, Irish flag celebrating, my family in the crowd. And you know, then you kind of realize it's not just me. It's everyone else that's celebrating with you. So it's a special moment.
Do you think you've remained the same Rhys from before winning as after, or do you think you've changed?
Like I've changed, but I like to think I've got the same drive. It was a year of like a lot of thinking and rejigging, because like, yeah, you're working towards this one goal for your whole life, and then that little tiny moment I'm describing, that's it done. So as amazing as that little moment is, it's a hell of a shift from chasing something to just having it. So I think the last year or so, I've needed to draw motivation from different areas of my life, but I've come to realize that I was kind of doing that all along. Like at certain points of your life, you get motivation from something else. You accomplish that something else. You move on to something else. It's I think it's like a constant evolution of who you are, and winning an Olympic medal isn't like an end to anything. It's just an evolution of who I am as an athlete. So um, hopefully I'll evolve into an even better athlete after this.
So you've represented Ireland on the biggest stage in the world. You've also represented Northern Ireland on the biggest stage that you can represent Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
which is the Commonwealth Games. Do you feel different when you pull on like those different uniforms or different colours and hearing different anthems?
Not really. Oddly enough, I've never got posed that question before.
Take that.
Probably because probably because they're wanting a bit more of a controversial answer, or trying to poke me in a different way. But that's a very well put question, because who I am as an athlete is Northern Irish and Irish, so it doesn't actually feel much different. Um, of course, I'm sure it feels different to people who are fans of Irish sport or just Northern Irish sport, but I can't even speak for those fans. I can only speak for myself. And when first and foremost, when I go out there at a competition, I represent me and like my family and close network around me who've helped me. Um, but whether that's a Northern Irish jersey or an Irish jersey I'm putting on, I put it on with pride every time, because it is an absolute honor to represent uh, both of those nations on the biggest stage of all, and hopefully bring home medals every time.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you in that sense, because it's like on last week's episode with Hannah Scott, and we were talking about it just before this, about how she did that amazing video sharing that she's from Northern Ireland and ultimately she just wants to be like, she's a Northern Irish athlete. She represented Ireland at underage. Now she's run for GB. So there's quite a complex, I don't want to say system for us athletes from Northern Ireland, but there is in a way. And the video she put out, it just, for me, like, it was the first time I heard it explained as an athlete that I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like ultimately I'm just trying to do my best and represent who I represent, my town, my people, my family, my community.
And but it's like it's so personal, and I think that's what everybody's gradually gearing towards now, is, and rather than going under that mob mentality or being a collective group, everyone's becoming a lot more individualized, and with that comes their identity, of course. So if you've got this, you growing up in Larne might even have a different connection to your religion or nationality than me growing up in Newtownards. You know what I mean? Like it depends where you grew up. It depends what people you're around. It depends what way you view the world. Oh my God, like it's an endless conversation across the world, let alone in Northern Ireland. But let's not talk about every every single race and religion there is across the world. Let's just stick with ours because it's complicated enough. But but it just shows that it's so personal. Like literally, it can. You literally, if you grew up in Belfast, it could be 10 meters down the street, and you're of a completely different identity than somebody else. So it's mad to think, but of course there's a long complicated history with Northern Ireland, and it still needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah,
100%. But I think it's evolving in a different way for sure.
I agree, and I think that's what sport is so good with. Sport has no religion, sport has no race or anything. Sport is sport, and everyone can follow and connect to that. And I think, it's as confusing as crazy as this country is. We do have our bad ones, but that's what we're very, very good at, is our passion for sport and what we put into it.
I think so.
Do you feel pressure being the best gymnast in Ireland and trying to bring the next group of kids along?
Yeah, in a way, I think it's more well described as a responsibility. You know, I'm the guy representing gymnastics for the public watching in Ireland. Um, every time I speak on TV, every time I perform, I'm representing all the kids across the country doing gymnastics, which is like such an amazing thing to be able to say. Um, but it is a responsibility at the same time. So if I do anything that negatively reflects on gymnastics, that like I'm the kind of at the forefront of it all there. So I just I hope that I can inspire as many people to join gymnastics as possible, see what an incredible sport it is. But then also the people that are already doing gymnastics to like stay in the sport, enjoy it first and foremost. Like people seem to think, especially for gymnastics, that like you either enjoy the sport instead at low level, or you start to not enjoy the sport, and that's only when you can go to the highest level. I think that's the same with many other sports as well, but the, having me saying that I'm at the highest level in this sport and I both enjoy it and also I'm at the highest level is, I think, a powerful message for a lot of coaches, gymnasts, parents to just understand.
Well, I think when you look at it, as we said beforehand, it's a giant playground.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And like, I know this every time I walk into the gym every day, and there's a little thing telling me in my brain how grateful I am that this is like my office. This is where I go to work. And Jesus Christ, like that's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah, but you bloody work for it. So you do. From the little snippets I've seen, you definitely do. But here, when we don't see Rhys in the gym or doing his flips or spinning around a pommel horse, who is Rhys?
Uh no, there's like a big part of me that is of course a gymnast, and like there's many years there where I don't think I would have done many things other than if they helped me in my gymnastics career. And I think being an athlete like that, it's quite selfish in a lot of ways because it means that you're kind of doing everything in your life for you. Even if it is like spending time with friends or family, you're kind of like, well, this makes me like objectively happier, and like I perform gymnastics better when I'm happy. So like that's the kind of logic that I would have used. But I think now with a bit of maturity, I'm starting to just like understand there is more to life than just doing gymnastics. But still, I'd say like 90% of it is gymnastics for me. Still, I've still got that obsession that I have always had. But I guess like it's nice building a life with my girlfriend. Um, spending time with her. We moved in together last March into a house I bought a couple of years ago, and I've been renovating it with my dad. We just got the front door on it today.
Wow, big step.
I know. Yeah, so it's fun to do things like that because I think it's nice to take a step away from the sport. And when you're thinking about stripping wallpaper or like I don't know, just painting stairs, you're not thinking about gymnastics entirely. And I think that's a healthy thing to have is to have.
It almost gives you that like perspective on being like, this is what normal people do, but it is in a way. This is what normal people do. Like I think as athletes, we're so fortunate we don't have to think about.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. But I enjoy it. I enjoy challenging myself in different ways, and you know, I like trying different sports. I like getting a little bit better at golf, darts, things like this. Like I like challenges in any form. And I think that's just learned from gymnastics. But the thing that stands out to me is that I I don't think I'll find a bigger challenge than gymnastics for me, which I think is one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Fair. It kind of just goes to show like who you are as a person, which
Yeah.
competitive, likes to throw himself around, and a big kid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
What's next for you? What's on the cards? Short term, long term?
So like I just got shoulder surgery last when even was that? July. So yeah, we're a few months past that now and we're on the mend, and now I'm in the middle of my competition preparations. So I haven't competed since Paris, which is crazy. So I'll be dusting off cobwebs for sure. I know.
on here.
Dust them off. But no, it's going well. And one thing that's quite exciting about gymnastics is the rules always change every Olympic cycle. So sometimes they're quite significant changes, sometimes they're not. This time it's quite a significant change. So like I've had to completely strip back the routine that I was doing for a number of years and reinvent one. Got some new skills, and yeah, like really, like I say, really challenge myself to keep up with the youngsters that are coming through now as well. Like there's some really good junior gymnasts that have come through and have just like dominated the senior stage on pommel horse in particular. So I can't wait to just come face to face to them, challenge them in a competition, and hopefully retain some titles.
I would like to hope so as well. No pressure.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, last thing before we wrap up. If you were to give 16-year-old Rhys a message, what would you say to him?
Keep enjoying the sport, first and foremost. Keep that at the forefront of your mind, and just trust the process. Yeah, don't sweat the little things so much. I worried so much as a kid, as a teenager. Like I was such a big worrier, and I think it was just because gymnastics was such a big part of my life, and I loved it so much. So when something didn't go right, I took it so bad. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, is that what's made me so good? That I I just didn't want myself to falter that much. But when I did, it was a real hit to me, and it made me learn from those lessons even more. But I don't know. I think sometimes I maybe sacrifice the happiness of the sport too much in pursuit of like getting certain goals. I could have enjoyed the process a little bit more, but I feel like I've done a decent job on it.
I think you've done all right now. To be fair, you've done all right now. Rhys, that is us. You have been amazing.
Sick. I love that.
It's been so good to chat to you on Unboxed, and shout out at Red Bull.
Yeah.
Chin chin. For making this happen, because that would not have happened without them. But make sure to go follow and subscribe. Listen to the pod, obviously, because you know it's great cracking on that paper. And until the next one, stay unboxed.
See you later, guys.